It all started with an idea that would eventually change the landscape of modern entrepreneurship, tech, and business culture forever. If you haven't heard of Summit, then you're in for a treat. It's not just another event company. It's a movement, a community, a hothouse for up-and-coming talent. But it didn't start that way. Back in 2008, 4 young and inexperienced entrepreneurs with just 2 college degrees between them decided to take a leap of faith. They wanted to prove that great things happen when you bring people together and get them talking, not just established movers and shakers, but the next generation of entrepreneurs who are building the apps and startups set to revolutionize tomorrow's world. Their first iteration of Summit was a far cry from the kind of events they host today. With just 19 guests in a pokey rented house with shared bedrooms, the beer ran out within half an hour and the shoestring budget barely covered the skiing equipment. But that didn't matter. Once those guests got to talking, sparks started flying. They traded ideas, hatched deals, and made plans for the future. Most importantly, they forged lifelong friendships. And from that small, humble beginning, Summit snowballed into something bigger and better. Today, Summit hosts events all over the world, attracting the likes of Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, Al Gore, and many other recognizable names. But despite its success and global recognition, Summit's founders haven't forgotten their values. They believe that the more great people you meet, the more great people you will meet. In this book, you'll discover the story and spirit of Summit. You'll learn why no idea should go unspoken, how to build meaningful business relationships, and why it pays to keep things surreal. But most importantly, you'll learn that anything is possible when you have the right mindset and a supportive community behind you. So join the movement, and let's make no small plans together. Chapter 1. Sarah had always believed that finding something she loved to do would make life easy. She had dreamed of being an artist since she was a little girl, and when she graduated from art school, she felt like she had finally found her calling. But reality hit hard, and Sarah soon realized that doing what you love wasn't as easy as people made it out to be. For one, being an artist meant working long hours, often into the night. Sarah would get so wrapped up in her work that she would forget to eat, and by the time she did remember, it would be too late to order anything. She would have to make do with whatever snacks she had lying around the house, which wasn't always the healthiest option. Secondly, being an artist meant constantly trying to improve. Sarah had thought that once she graduated, she would have all the skills she needed, but that wasn't the case. There was always something new to learn, a new technique to master, and it was all very time-consuming. But Sarah persevered. She kept working, day in and day out, and slowly but surely, she started to see the results of her hard work. Her art got better, more refined. People started to take notice, and she started to get commissions. It wasn't until she read Make No Small Plans that Sarah realized what had been driving her all along. It wasn't just her love for art, it was her commitment to it, her willingness to put in the hard work, even when it wasn't easy. The book made her realize that there was no such thing as work versus passion, it was all about caring and interest. And for Sarah, art was something she cared about deeply, something that interested her to her core. Now, she spends her days creating beautiful pieces of art, and while the work can still be hard and time-consuming, she wouldn't have it any other way. She's doing something that matters, something that expresses her values, and she knows that it's all worth it in the end. Chapter 2. Elliott had always felt a bit lost and unfulfilled in college, but it wasn't until the recession hit that he realized the traditional path just didn't add up. As he found himself caught up in a sea of students all studying the same problems, he couldn't help but feel like there had to be more to life than competing for the same jobs in a shrinking market. Elliott knew he wanted to work on his own problems, to be an entrepreneur, but he wasn't quite sure how to get started. His first thought was to drop out of college and dive headfirst into his business idea, but his dad's wise words convinced him to take a more measured approach. So Elliott started small. He began selling ads for an online newsletter in his spare time, slowly building his skills and learning the ropes of entrepreneurship. He didn't spend all his savings, and he didn't try to convince his family to support his idea. Instead, he took things one step at a time. As he worked on his business, he also took time to explore his interests and figure out what he was truly passionate about. He cooked, he worked out, he learned a new language. And as he did, he found that his passion for entrepreneurship only grew. But starting a business is never easy, and Elliott faced his fair share of challenges. There were times when he doubted himself, when he wondered if he was making a mistake. But through it all, he remained true to his authentic self, pushing open doors and exploring new opportunities. And in the end, it was that commitment to authenticity that allowed him to succeed. With hard work, determination, and a willingness to take risks, he built a thriving business that changed the game in his industry. Looking back on his journey, Elliott realized that the key to success was simple: start small, but think big. Don't be reckless, but don't be afraid to take risks. And most importantly, stay true to yourself and your passions, and the rest will fall into place. Chapter 3. As a young entrepreneur, Alex had always dreamed of building a successful business that would change the world. But he soon discovered that the journey to success was a lonely and challenging one. He spent hours cold calling prospective clients from his childhood bedroom, and the few networking events he attended were a far cry from the inspiring and supportive environment he craved. Then one day, Alex stumbled upon an article about Summit Series, a revolutionary new forum that brought together young entrepreneurs for in-depth conversations and meaningful connections. Intrigued by the idea, Alex applied to attend the next Summit event. When he arrived, he was amazed by what he found. Instead of the chaotic and transactional environment of typical networking events, Summit was a warm and welcoming community of like-minded individuals who were passionate about building meaningful relationships and making a real difference in the world. Over the course of the 3-day event, Alex met a diverse group of entrepreneurs from all over the world. They shared their stories, offered advice and support, and forged deep connections that would last a lifetime. But it wasn't just the people that made Summit so special. The event was held in a stunning location, surrounded by natural beauty and inspiring vistas. And the organizers had carefully curated a program of speakers and activities that challenged and inspired the attendees to think bigger and reach higher. As the event drew to a close, Alex felt transformed. He had made new friends, gained valuable insights and connections, and felt more inspired and motivated than ever before. And he knew that Summit was just the beginning of his journey as an entrepreneur, with endless opportunities and possibilities waiting for him in the years ahead. Chapter 4. As Summit's reputation for hosting unique and surreal events grows, a new attendee is welcomed to the fold. Maya is a young entrepreneur, eager to make her mark in the tech world. She's always been told that success is about rubbing shoulders with the right people, and she's hoping that Summit can be her ticket to the big leagues. Maya arrives at the Summit event, held on a sprawling estate in the mountains. As she enters the main house, she's struck by the eclectic mix of people. There are tech billionaires, artists, chefs, and activists, all mingling together. Maya feels a little out of her depth, but she's determined to make the most of the opportunity. The first day of the event is filled with fascinating talks and workshops, covering everything from AI to sustainable farming. Maya takes copious notes, eager to learn as much as she can. As the day draws to a close, she's invited to a small dinner party with a few other attendees. Over dinner, Maya meets a young woman named Lily, who's also in the tech industry. They hit it off immediately, bonding over their shared love of coding and ambition. Maya is thrilled to have made a connection so quickly, and she feels like Summit might be everything she hoped for. But as the night wears on, things take a turn. Maya notices a strange tension in the air, as though something is simmering beneath the surface. She overhears hushed whispers and sees people exchanging nervous glances. When she asks Lily what's going on, her new friend just shakes her head and changes the subject. The next day, Maya wakes up to chaos. One of the event organizers has been found dead in their room, and rumors are swirling about foul play. Maya is stunned, wondering how something like this could happen in such a carefully curated environment. As the investigation unfolds, Maya starts to see the cracks in Summit's perfect facade. There are rivalries and power struggles at play, and it seems like some attendees will stop at nothing to get ahead. Maya realizes that success in this world isn't just about passion and authenticity, it's also about ruthlessness and ambition. Despite the darkness that's descended on the event, Maya decides to stay. She's determined to see it through to the end and figure out what really happened. As she delves deeper into the mysteries of Summit, she finds herself drawn into a web of intrigue that she never could have imagined. And she starts to wonder if the price of success is worth the cost. Chapter 5. Sarah had always been an idea person. She loved brainstorming, coming up with new concepts and pushing boundaries. That's why she had always dreamed of working for Summit, the innovative company that had changed the game in the tech industry. After a rigorous interview process, Sarah was thrilled when she got the job. On her first day, she was given a tour of the Summit campus and introduced to the company's culture of idea generation. "No idea goes unspoken," her supervisor told her. "And we mean it." Sarah was excited to put this philosophy into practice, but it wasn't long before she realized that coming up with ideas was the easy part. The real challenge was getting others to listen. Despite the company's stated commitment to hearing from everyone, it was often the same few voices that dominated the conversation. Frustrated, Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands. She organized an off-site brainstorming session, inviting employees from across the company to come together and share their craziest, wildest, most outlandish ideas. It was a risk, but Sarah was convinced that the best ideas often come from the most unexpected places. The session was a success. There were a few ideas that didn't quite land, but there were also a handful that were truly groundbreaking. Sarah was thrilled, but also a little nervous. Would anyone at Summit take these ideas seriously? It was a few weeks later that Sarah heard about the upcoming Summit event. The company had decided to rent an entire cruise ship and invite a select group of industry leaders to come on board and discuss the future of tech. It was an ambitious plan, but Sarah couldn't help feeling like it was missing something. That's when she remembered one of the ideas that had come out of her brainstorming session. It was a little crazy, but it just might work. She approached her supervisor with the idea of inviting Jeff Bezos to speak at the event. At first, her supervisor laughed. "Do you know how much that would cost?" he said. "There's no way we could afford him." But Sarah didn't give up. She talked to others in the company, trying to build support for her idea. She even reached out to Bezos himself, pitching him on the opportunity to share his story with a live audience. To her surprise, Bezos was intrigued. He had always been passionate about innovation, and the chance to speak to a group of like-minded individuals was too good to pass up. But there was one catch: he didn't want a speaking fee. This was the breakthrough Sarah had been hoping for. With Bezos on board, Summit's cruise ship event was sure to be a success. And more than that, it was proof that crazy ideas can pay off if you're willing to give them a fair hearing. Summary: Summit's success lies in its commitment to fostering a culture of collaboration and idea sharing. They believe that great ideas can come from anyone and anywhere, and they emphasize the importance of generating a lot of ideas to find the good ones. By engaging with crazy-sounding ideas, Summit has found innovative solutions to challenges, like getting Jeff Bezos to speak at an event without blowing the budget. The company provides a platform for interesting people to come together and collaborate on big plans. If you're feeling stuck, consider attending a conference or finding a group of like-minded individuals to exchange ideas with. Who knows what new ways of thinking and problem-solving you may discover. Now, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading Make No Small Plans were phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.